Hello everyone. Welcome back to Cloud Consultant Services. In today's video, we're going to break down AWS DNS Firewall, what it is, why it is important, how it helps to secure the cloud environment. This is first part of a two-part series. Today we'll focus on theory and the key concept. In the next video, we'll deep dive into hands-on demo where I'll show you the step-by-step how to set up the AWS DNS Firewall. Before we get started, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss the hands-on tutorial coming up next. Now let's get into it. So, AWS DNS Firewall VPC query. So it's more of protecting your VPCs. AWS DNS Firewall. I'm pretty much sure everyone knows about AWS VPC, AWS basic services. So this is kind of a 200 plus session. So it's gonna be a bit too advanced. Yeah. So, before jumping into the solution and the presentation of the DNS firewall, what is the current problem in the market? Um, we are seeing that there is a lack of DNS traffic. It's not getting unfiltered. So, outbound traffic inspection to prevent the network threat, blocking access to cybercrime, malicious domain, implement the TLS validations to secure the data connections, simplify the multi-organization environment. Uh, these are the like current problem. What happened is that if I take an example of say a real-time scenario that anything comes to your environment and whether it's a container image or whether it's any kind of a file that is getting dumped on your server, it might have a malicious code which can do DNS spoofing, right? And it can do a lot of other things and can compromise your network. So having a DNS firewall is important to block the malicious and malware domain. Uh, uh, if you're aware, like in one of my videos, like I have mentioned that each and every organization is required to have a IDS and IPS system. So IDS introduction detection services and IPS introduction production service, which does as a which get implemented by the firewall. So nowadays next gen firewalls capabilities like Palo Alto, Fortinets, and Cloud Checker. So these are the top notch firewall provider who is doing these services like providing the DNS firewalls, providing the IP-based blocking, providing the next gen capabilities, right? As a threat point of view. So yeah, there are the problems in the industry in the cloud that we are not able to track the domain name which is getting requested from our VPCs, right? So if you want to have the complete holistic next gen firewall, you'll have to make a quite huge investment, right? So today, which the solution which I'm going to pitch is mainly for the cost-effective solution, which doesn't rely on any kind of a third-party firewall, right? So this solution is introduced by AWS and it acts at the VPC level, but we can centralize over the multi-account and multi-VPC as well. So yeah, let's move to the next slide. So the proposed solution is like having a DNS firewall, then trying to manage the domain list, which particular domain has to be blocked at the firewall side, and keeping eye on all your egress traffic, very important. So whatever comes in and go out, right? So we need to have a log about those thread, right? So these are the three key points. Like you should have a systems which allow you to block the malicious domain. You should have a system where your domain, all the malware domain name, it keeps updating every time, right? So there is a service called under the DNS firewall. We have AWS managed domain list, which AWS take care of regularly updating the all the malware based and malicious domain name. We do have like egress traffic monitoring. This we can do it via uh, having the VPC query logged. Yeah. So let me, I'll move the next slide now. DNS firewall features. So when it comes to AWS DNS firewall, what it means, like what it does, what are the capabilities. So it has sort of capabilities of mm, logging and monitoring, provide visibility about your DNS firewall. That's important. Like it gives you whatever queries is getting raised or whatever egress domain reach out is happening for your box from a server is getting monitored and logged, right? Um, Protecting them against malicious query. So block the DNS query and whatever the malware domain is there. That's the main key roles. Filtering capability, create the rules to filter the DNS request. Yeah. So as rightly said, you can maintain your own custom domain name as well to block at the VPC at the network level. Granular control, DNS, detailed DNS resolution policy. So we have a granular control where we manage all your DNS resolution from centrally. Integration with other services. Yes, it has integration with other services in terms of CloudWatch, in terms of Route 23. We have other S3 services integration where you can store your logs for the future incident response. How a DNS firewall works with Route 23. So DNS firewall and Route 53 integration. So basically, any sort of DNS query interception happening within your network, right? It gets requested from the servers. So there are conditions saying that checks are happening whether this domain belongs to the malicious domain or not. So we do have created the firewall filters. Um, so within if it matches in the filters that domain belongs to the malicious domain list, it will block the request. If it's not, then it will serve your request to your Route 23 resolver, right? And go to the internet and download the packages and do the all the things. So that's the more of the flow diagram, like how it works, right? So you have a mediator, one checks filter is there, which keeps passing each and every request keep passing to that checks and if this condition match it will block the request. If it doesn't match, it will do its job like serving the request for internet. What are the key benefits, pros and cons? So I could see a lot of pros out there. I couldn't see any cons, but yeah, automatic blocking, it's very green check, so it blocks all your request automatically based on filters. Time saving, so your network engineer time saving, don't have to keep monitoring, keep being there or the day and threat. Customizable list, right? So you are getting a chance to update the list manually or to servers. So keep updating the list if you find any kind of malware domain or any domain that you want to block with the organization. Seamless integrations. Yep, I think it is quite integrated with your native AWS services. So very feasible. Last point, it's cost effective, very cost effective. I'm gonna explain you like how what's the pricing model we have in AWS. But yeah, it's very cost effective service. I think each and every organization should try this. Cons, none identified, so I don't see any cons in DNS firewalls. Why should not we use? We should use this service because it's a free service and it's very cost effective and it gives you a lot of benefits in terms of your security posture. AWS for DNS firewall cost, right? This is the last like I'm gonna explain you in way like so. It has a four model. So Any DNS query that is made from your local, from your server itself, right? So it costs you $0.60 for first billion, right? So it is like huge. So kind of a billion kind of a request is happening. DNS request happen from a server, so it costs like $0.60. So it's very cheap. Uh, and after the billion, right? So after crossing your over billion, you reduce your cost. So it costs $0.40 for when you cost the over billion request in that month. Custom domain charges. So it's like free per domain in a rule group. So uh, uh, if you're trying to use custom domain list where you can do maintain all your list to block the domain, like for example, if you want to block Facebook, WhatsApp, you know, if you want to block any sort of domain name that you don't want their network to be used, yeah, it costs around money for like each group. You can have 0.0005 dollar, and it's even it's cheap. I mean, saying that if you even if you hold 10 domain names, so it won't cost you that much. Uh, very impressive is that AWS itself has a list of domain name where it contain all your malware malicious domain, and it keep updating those all the lists. So it's like it has almost hundred of domain lists domain names, which is being managed by AWS. And the good thing is that they don't charge, right? They don't charge if you use AWS product domain list within the of DNS firewall. It's not going to charge anything. So it's like even if you use it in a month, I mean, if you don't have that many of DNS query happening, right? This service is going to be free of cost for you. Okay? If you own any kind of custom domain name, blocking like 100 of custom domain name that you have in a list, is then it will cost some money out of that. So, but still, it's very reasonable cost, right? Uh, so very useful service has to grab in each and every VPC's network. Yeah, this slide is mainly about how your network looks when you introduce a DNS firewall, right? So in the right side, you have all your subnets, security subnet, TV subnet, all your workload subnets. Any request coming from your subnet, right, in that same VPC, it will go to a DNS firewall, which means it's go to a DNS resolver. So I try resolving and checking, and understand all the filters that has been defined under the managed list and the custom domain. Based on that, it forward the traffic to a NAT gateway or your internet gateway, right? So each and every traffic going out, and even the return traffic which comes from the internet back to your server, get filtered out to firewall, and you're able to see the each and every record that is happening in that firewalls. So the good point is that any request getting made from your servers like EC2 or database or anywhere, it's keep logging into your VPC query. So there is a service called VPC query in AWS Route 23. It log your each and every request and domain name with a source IP and with a port number. So the good part is like it very useful in terms of doing the incident response and troubleshooting session. So I'm going to definitely implement the things in hands-on lab and next video. Uh, but yeah, this is more of the theoretical things like how it looks when it comes to the DNS firewall. Uh, how to set up? It's like very simple steps are there. Like I'm going to definitely explain you in our next video about how to set up the DNS firewall across multi-account. Right? Even if you can set up in single account. So the steps are like you can connect your AWS console, navigate to your Route 53, create a rule group, and then create a custom rule. Um, and then review, select that the rule group which you created, select that VPC that you don't want to get filtered out, and link that rule group with that VPC, configure the DNS setting, and then here you go, you can identify the block domain. So that's a high level steps that uh, how to say, how it get implemented. So I'm going to share the same scenario, but this is mainly for the single account. But I'm going to share the scenario on the multi account, how to have a centralized rule management, like having on the centralized custom rules, centralized rules managing where you manage all your firewall rules, and the same thing can be shared across all your multi account. I think yeah. That's all from my side. This was like the last session. Uh, but yeah. So, but in the next video, we'll get the hands-on walkthrough the actual setup of AWS DNS firewall step by step. So, if you're ready to see in action, stay tuned. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, drop a comment, um, and don't forget to subscribe the Cloud Consultant Services. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.